Bavaria is a Roblox group that has become so popular that practically everyone has heard about it in some respect or another. Now, I don't say this lightly when I say it, but the latest launch of Bavaria was one of the most, if not the most, utterly and completely disastrous and irresponsible launches that I've ever seen of a Roblox group. This is the story of Bavaria going from a prospecting group to being totally and utterly shut down. Eric Modell's return. On December 10th, 2022, the Kingdom of Bavaria will relaunch for its 7th iteration. If you'd like to participate in this part of history, join the relaunch. Now, I'll be honest when I say that I was genuinely and actually excited for this launch. You see, this group has become one of those household names because of how famous or infamous it is around the community. For example, back in 2017, I heard about this group for the first time because Eric was funding it while still the owner of the United States military in 1940s. That in itself was one of the sole reasons for the launch of the Western Ascendancy, which is by far one of my absolute favorite Roblox groups of all time. Anyways, to say that I was excited for this would be an absolute understatement. I really was hyped for this. Moving on, the Koenig, or King, or Eric Modell had us all gather at his castle and held a speech to commemorate the relaunching of Bavaria. This is how that went.
D-Junks, drive straight forward.
Bonanza, it's very bold of you to assume anyone in this call knows anything about being straight.
You should all take like one step back.
One hop this time.
When are we gonna start playing Erica? That's the only reason I came.
Who's that boy Brandon? D-Junks, get the fuck out of my face, dude. I don't need you KG cocksuckers near me.
Guys, if Eric sees these noodle rolls, he's gonna actually go back into hibernation. Eric is gonna go back to USM if he sees this. We'll scare him off. Gotta get Wayne still here. They're doing the little Lego Nazi rally. Come on, Wayne.
Whose fucking phone is that?
I'm calling Wayne. Give me a second.
I survived a Roblox church shooting and all I got was this lousy t-shirt.
That was a really good shot. I definitely heard every single word of what you just said.
I couldn't hear you through the potato.
The potato mic is not working.
Dude, he's got the Mint Mobile Wi-Fi.
That's awful.
How many white people do we have in here?
Let's do the percentages. Now, speaking of percentages, statistically speaking, you're not subscribed. So if you want more videos like this, then go subscribe. Now, thank you and enjoy the rest of the video. Fix the skin tone. He's not white? What the heck?
No, he's just full on black.
Yeah, so?
That's a thing. That's a thing.
That's a legitimate thing.
Change your skin color.
Not white enough.
Scanning for Mexicans.
These fucking charred motherfuckers over here.
Part of the colonies of Tubby's Uganda.
Hey, Florian, I have a special request for you. Can you go up to each line and yell, my boyfriend is straighter than this line? Just a question. Where's the Roman salute tool, guys? Where's the Roman salute tool? Guys, do you think Tubby went to art school? Guys, if you think Eric's the real leader, watch this. Soldiers, start jumping. Start jumping. Look who really wins this.
Just make your way in. Just push him out.
You know what? Fine. Well, we did it.
Alright, when Tubby rocks up, all cap praise with exclamation mark.
Liodite's really getting some quality content right
This
now.
is true. This is what they want to see, guys. Come on.
Oh no.
King Chocolate Leader Skid. It would be a rather
Fucking breaking
unfortunate
down.
event if someone were to explode right now.
Oh, the king is here.
The king.
Alright, everybody go to attention now.
At ease.
Everyone
People
stay
jumping.
fucking still. No one fucking move. You two in the fucking back. Go to the fucking right. Is it that fucking hard to understand?
I don't think they're in VC, sir.
When they come in, everyone go to attention right away. Attention, then praise.
Who the fuck is that guy?
It's Eric Model. Oh, attention.
3, 2, 1, now.
We're all muted
do the-
still. We're all still muted.
Somebody tell him that England lost.
What was that? Oh my god. Woman falling from the ceiling.
Is he looking at me?
Whitman, hold tight. Don't start doing push-ups, Whitman. It's not worth it. If he starts getting in a Sonic the Hedgehog position and rolling towards you, just accept your fate. You will learn why he's called Tubby. You see the middle row? Gone.
Formation at ease.
Inspection complete, Mike. Well, where do I start? Welcome back, my loyal Bavarian soldiers. The kingdom has called upon you time and time. Good sentence. No, not again. The king is dead! The king is dead! You've all been rallied here for one reason, and that is to prove to me, if this kingdom is fit to run once more, you've mustered together all the loyalists from time and time again. You all managed to turn up. I see the same old faces in this room, as I did in 2015. Now, you may be wondering, what is going to change? Why are we doing Bavaria for a millionth time? And all I can say to that is, new management, new development, new tech. I will always remain your king. However, I will not be doing all the work. Waiting for him to type is like that one scene from Zootopia with the slots and the RMB. And being as heavily invested as I used to be, I will always be here for my loyal Bavarians. Douglas' motto is to hereby become Bavarian. He's becoming Bavarian, let's go!
Launch isn't for a few months.
Few months? Why are we all here then? I thought this was the launch. That's an hour we'll literally never get back. So this took place back in December of 2022. For whatever reason, they decided it would be a great idea to announce launch about 2 months prior to the actual launch. But I'll hold my resentment. If this is what it takes to tickle Eric's balls enough to launch Bavaria, then the balls will be tickled. Also, here's the tomfoolery that happened right after the speech. We are the Lego military soldiers. It's the end of a 2000s movie. You see that guy over there? He died of a drug overdose 5 years later. What are you protecting me from? Where even is the king? He walked away. He's like Joe Biden. He exploded. Jesus, what is this little community going on over here with the red hats? Lutheranism looks a lot different than when I used to go to church. They're little wicks, they're little candles. You light their thing and they start running. There is literally a prison down here. Oh my god. Come on, guys. If we all storm it like we stormed the Capitol, we're getting... What is that painting? Who put that there?
It's me trying to find my way out.
Oh no! Who did that? Just gotta put it in reverse, you know? It's a manual. No, it's driving. It's going somewhere. Not very far, but it's going somewhere. Now, over the next 2 months, not a lot of actual group activity had happened. However, I want to take a moment to kind of show you the hype that was going on around Bavaria at the time. Let me read some of the announcements. Attention, Bavarians. This iteration of Bavaria will be its last as it's meant to stand, and thus is intended to innovate past all former generations. With new developers and an equally energetic high command, Bavaria soars now in the right direction. Be aware the development has already been underway and the work ethic is there. With this new era of Bavaria comes with getting rid of the old ways of Roblox as once said before. There will be change, needed change. Stay tuned, Bavarians. With all estimations, our first game should be done early 2023 and give you all the opportunity to begin training and establishing your individual units and communities. Bavaria. This game will act as the foundation and building blocks that will set the brilliant future for Bavaria, paving the way for the innovation we will bring to the genre as a whole. Take this opportunity now to message your friends, get them in on this project, and establish your homes within the many units we have to offer. All hands are on deck development-wise, and the train is going full steam ahead. Anticipate its arrival. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone for their patience in the development process. Many people have yearned to bring back the legacy of Bavaria, and with the community's help, we're on the final step in releasing the best iteration since 2014, ladies and gentlemen. With the community's help, we'll make Bavaria last and stand the test of time. All it takes is for everyone to do their part. Stay tuned and posted, Bavarians. The kingdom will prevail. Now, about 2 months after the previous event, they finally announced launch. Head on down to the Alpine Castle for the official group and game launch. So I did. Alright, this is my first look at Bavaria. It is currently February 25th, 2023. I'm excited to say the least. I like the music, I give you that. I mean, anything classical I like, to be honest. I mean, you could literally shit out a brick and I'd be like, yeah, it's fire. Uniforms, let's see. Oh, this is really giving 2012 retro vibes. Apparently, putting on a P2 uniform also injects testosterone into my blood. Man, what the hell am I wearing? Okay then. I think I'm gonna be forced to equip this uniform where I look like Freddie Mercury, but on drugs. Wait, he was on drugs. So this is the military base. Oh, I see the German soldiers, the Wehraboo's up there. They're like, our great leader, Eric Muddle. He is dissatisfied with our service. We must now jump off a cliff. Ooh, I'm gonna go find Eric. I'm gonna tell him what I thought of him leaving USM 1940s. You watch me. Now, my honest reaction to the launch was just a little disappointed. The tech was outdated, the uniforms were goofy, but I think the worst thing was just there was nothing happening. There was no divisional events, there was nothing at all going on during the first day of the group's launch. That was a little disappointing to someone like me who was really excited for this super awesome group. However, I will give them the benefit of the doubt and just say these are launch bugs and they're gonna be fixed. I'll put good reasoning aside and just hope for the best. So, while I was exploring the base, one of the people there told me I should join a division. There were 4 options presented to me: the Royal Bavarian Mountaineer Troop, the Royal Bavarian Armored Corps, the Royal Bavarian Mechanized Grenadiers, and the Royal Bavarian Guard. Well, I usually tend to despise more elite units because of their history being toxic. I kinda wanted to join the Royal Bavarian Guard. Even back when I was like 10 years old, like 300 years ago in JFK Part's Vietnam group, I would always shoot for the protection units. I wanted to join them simply because I liked the idea of guarding and following around someone important. Back then, it was the Secret Service. Now it's the Royal Bavarian Guard. Pleasure to meet you. I was wondering what the best way to get into the Royal Bavarian Guard would be.
Everything I do in this tryout has a purpose.
Oh boy. Oh.
Congrats, you're the fastest time any applicant has done.
Still a tiny bit hung out. Well, I didn't have that much alcohol.
I didn't have that much.
It wasn't that much, guys. Only a fifth of vodka. Now, the final portion of this tryout was dedicated to combat. Well, technically, the faces and the obstacle course were part of the tryout. Realistically speaking, they're just cosmetic. So I put on my glasses, read The Art of War, and got to killing these children like I'm fucking Gillen Klebold, baby. Oh, hello, man. I'm hearing it. I'm hearing the walking. I don't know where you went. Oh, okay. Hello. Well, I think I found you. Okay, that's where you went. Shouldn't have done that. Oh, Jesus.
Good shot.
Thank you. You too. Hit a barrel. It's gonna explode.
Okay, listen, Liodite.
Yeah.
If you get 10-0, don't feel bad about it because I am in the combat division of the combat division.
No, well, I didn't exactly get 10-0'd. I did get... I attended not 1, not 2, but 3 tryouts before things started to look bleak. When I first attended, I was genuinely excited and had hope for joining. By the second one, I still had hope. But by the third one, I genuinely could not see myself joining. I fell into this path of, what if I'm just really not good enough? I knew my KDR wasn't great by any means, but I really wanted to get into the Royal Bavarian Guard. So I took the advice of people with much more experience than I and decided to train. Now, the problem with my previous tryout attempts was that I was constantly trying to land a hit while jumping or bunny hopping. While this definitely works for some people, it doesn't work well for me. So I created a new move. I put in reasonable physics, calculated wind speed, talked to Matt from Wii Sports, and I created a new strategy. I call it camping. Anyways, I finally got into my 4th attempt. Well, it may have been a bit cheap to camp, kills are still kills at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. So, my first assignment as a member of the Royal Bavarian Guard was to guard a door. This is what I did 3 tryouts for. This is this right here. The people that I was assigned with are good people, and that's what matters most to me. I also had the misfortune of learning what tubby wubbies were, and they are just as disgusting as they sound.
1 tubby wubby, sir.
4, tubby wubby, sir. Guys, hear me out. If we all just started running right now, he can't catch all of us. 1, 2, 3. He got us. Listen, if it wasn't called a tubby wubby, maybe we'd take it seriously. It's so gross. It sounds like something you vomit. Oh, sorry. I just left tubby wubby all over the floor. Sorry, guys. Last night I was getting really audacious. I left my tubby wubby all over the carpet. Valdor then was so kind as to give me a tour of the castle.
That's the side entrance. So your foot entrance over there. That there is a secret tunnel. Lower courtyard, we have the armory. The upper courtyard, our good Fez closet.
Wow, he's so tiny.
Will you be my friend?
We have some officers.
Oh, that's nice.
A meeting room. It's kind of like a tea room, but it is some more bedrooms. Tea room, which is also a meeting room.
They already have a spot for me. Hold on. Yeah, right here. They already have a spot for me. Just staring at himself in the mirror all the time. Okay, I hate that I'm going to be the one to say this, but why do they all look squished? Why does he look squished?
Maybe he's like anorexic.
Robloxian 4.0.
This is our good friend, the corner no one talks about. There's an execution corner.
Oh.
With a trench for dumping bodies and everything.
Huh. There we go. Come on, come up here. Come enjoy the view. Honestly speaking, the castle was pretty cool in my opinion. It reminds me a lot of older style Roblox building while also incorporating terrain, which is more of a new phenomenon. I also just tend to love buildings that you can absolutely lose your way in if you're not careful enough. So yeah, it was pretty cool. Now, one of the last events that I had the pleasure of attending was a Bavarian inspection and military parade. Is that what I sound like when I type? Jesus, Ferdinand. As this was our first week open, we expected there to be hiccups and jokes here and there, but the time for joking and standing around is over. With that being said, be prepared for mass intake very soon, as the advertisement campaign will rain fury amongst the blocks.
Alright, let's get this shit on a roll.
Warm up fast, just make a line.
We appreciate your presence today, everyone. Braves, the king has departed. Alright, everyone, that's our cue. We can go now.
Fire up them tanks, boys.
Are we doing something? Sorry, I've been asleep for the last 30 minutes. Yeah, they done killed me.
Someone's shooting us. Someone's shooting us.
Damn, I love this place. I'm sorry, what? What is it? Oh, where is it going? I'm sorry, what?
The thing just falls down and blows everybody up.
It's going to.
This event took place on March 4th, 2023. Only 11 days after, an announcement was made from Ajax Modell reading, "Attention all personnel! Due to the joint decision amongst the Supreme Command and Monarchy, we'll be halting all operations as of this moment, with the remaining personnel transferred to the Reserve Army. For the failed efforts of myself and many others that won't be called out here, I'm sorry. It's an unfortunate blockade, but there is a chance for prosperity in the future. We hope to only ensure quality and keeping the name of Bavaria of what it once was and what it used to stand for, and where the current steps have taken us is nothing of the same." Honestly speaking, when I read that, I was genuinely disappointed. For 3 months, I waited for this group to launch. I kept hyping it up and hyping it up. "We'll make Bavaria last and stand the test of time," they said. "They were paving the way for the innovation we will bring to the genre as a whole," they told us. "This iteration of Bavaria will be the last as it's meant to stand, and thus is intended to innovate past all former generations," they lied. They really had us thinking that this would be the magnum opus of the Bavarian franchise. This was the one, they said. But as every Bavaria has done in the past, it has fallen. This time, however, the abruptness, the wasted resources, and the absolute lack of transparency questions the integrity, strength, and legitimacy of not just Bavaria, but the Modell family as a whole. Why did Bavaria really shut down? What went wrong? And who should be blamed for this atrocity? Let's find out. Now, I wasn't fully aware of the situation as it was all going down, so I had 2 people sort of fill me in on the details, and those 2 people would be Mr. Zietzler and Sully. With that said, I compiled a couple questions and just got straight into it.
Ken's 47 and I'm 38. So.
What is your name and what was your rank within the Kingdom of Bavaria or previous versions?
Sully, a lot of commanding Fallschirmjägers with your paratroopers.
Werner Mulders. And me specifically, first iteration, we had what was called a Baron Marshal. I would later become the Crown Prince.
Can you give your reasoning why you believe Bavaria shut down, and if it came down to something specifically, what it would be?
Oh, absolutely. At the end of the day, this whole thing was, from top down, completely mismanaged. One of the first Bavarias, even back to Kibler was involved in his Bavaria. Every Bavaria iteration we've had, Hubby's been involved in his Bavaria. And a lot of that is you have to provide vision of the direction you want the group to go in. You know, it took us 3 months from when it was announced that we're going to be doing this and hyping it up to actually launching an active game. I think anyone who goes and plays the Alpine map, it fails to deliver any semblance to the average Robloxian a playable game. Like, what's the playability of the game? And there's just not. Going through the amount of money that was crowdfunded to what was delivered was a big problem for most of us, instead of actually being transparent. So there was no permanent dev staff. We found out 17 different devs were hired. It is a group of individuals pushing it into a direction with no oversight, no transparency, no public plan. When it fails, they don't try to take responsibility, and there was no apology, real apology issue. That's the only way we have credibility for any of the institutions we do going forward.
You had mentioned there was a mismanagement of funds. Do you know specifically how much was mismanaged?
Around $1,000.
This wasn't even on the interview questions, but just like a personal question for both of you. Looking at the current state of the community, I mean, people are like looking at not just Bavaria, but Club Modell, and they're laughing. They're like, I can't even run groups anymore. This ties in with the rep of the Modell family. Do you feel like this is a situation where this would be more or less the nail in the coffin for Bavaria? Because Tubby, he was the one who, helped run the groups in the past, and now he's bored of doing it. He doesn't want to do it anymore. Do you think it's finally time to say goodbye to Bavaria, or do you believe this group can pull itself up from the bootstraps?
The last time we did Bavaria, I thought that was the last iteration of Bavaria. Tubby checked out. He's in the military. He's got way more important things to be doing now than Roblox. I do not think Bavaria should or ever needs to launch again. It's become a chore with Bavaria now. We've done it so many times. The community that is no longer. The high command, they can't follow the same formula we did because it's not going to work. They need a clean slate, up-to-date ideas where they can attract the target audience.
Now, I'll post the full interview in the description, but a lot of it was cut out. One of the names that was frequented was Ajax Models. He more or less led Bavaria in the palpable aspect, but I don't think it's fair to just sit here and scapegoat him for everything that happened. So I got in contact with him and just brought up a lot of things he was accused of doing. So I'm just gonna jump straight into the questions. Can you please explain why so many freelance developers were hired and a proper development staff team was never formed?
Douglas Model was the Bavarian Marshal. After we all decided as a group that he was too inactive, I took control of the group. At that time, we did have a dev team. We had Asigas on the team. Once he came in, he had a whole dev team that we hired. And after Asigas left from the project, project, we ended up having to hire a whole bunch of other people as the time was ticking down to launch.
Yeah, why did Asagas end up leaving the team?
He lost interest and was too busy with school.
Do you know how much exactly was donated in community contributions for the Bavarian project?
Approximately like 1,100 USD and 100,000 Robux.
Do you believe these community contributions were mismanaged, and if so, how?
We were kind of just gonna like pay what we had to pay like for the map, but after the team kind of fell apart and I had to hire tons of different contracted developers, the price kind of added up, and that's kind of how it was mismanaged. When it comes to the Robux, that was under other management as I didn't have permissions to access that.
Regarding the community contributions again, is it true that Eric or Tubby used that money that was donated for Bavaria specifically and used that money to fix his car because something had happened with that?
No, that is not true. We had a 400,000 stored in Model Studios. The plan was to use that for the ads, and so Tubby used his own funds, which were the planned funds for Bavaria, and he had to take them out because he crashed his car, yeah.
I feel like everybody grazes over that fact. I understand that it was donated to the Modell family, but at the same time, do you think that's not fair to people who were donating that money to specifically use it for, like, you know, Modell projects, not something like Eric's car?
He just cashes out his own money. That was his own stored funds that he had.
Do you take sole responsibility for the downfall of Bavaria, or would you say it was more a variety of factors?
I do believe that like others were a part of it as well. I mean, I took on a lot of the development myself.
It's easy to say that Ajax is solely responsible, but there were more people involved that don't take accountability. I even take accountability for myself. I feel like at times I could have been more vocal about some of the issues going on. I'm gonna name drop, I mean, I really will. It's partially Chris's fault. He was the leader of the group. He should have been taking charge of that. So you see like how we had Monarchy in the group. Tubby initially said that Monarchy would have no control over the group whatsoever. However, over time he said the opposite in one of the inspections. Little things like that created confusion amongst people. So Werner Mulders, he was like the primary Monarchy member. He would offer useful advice at times, but at times he didn't necessarily take it very seriously. Other Monarchy members were completely inactive, Conrad being one of them. Heinrich was inactive. There was people who definitely like showed effort, who wanted to actually contribute, and then there were those who were just there for the ride.
Also, not to mention our primary scripter towards the end, which is Spud. He had to go away to Army boot camp.
Ferdinand, do I have that name correct? Regarding the community contributions, you were the primary donor, if I'm not mistaken, so let me ask questions regarding that. That is true, correct?
It was Executor and I donated over $800.
Regarding that sense, how does Executor feel about the whole situation? How does he feel about what a lot of people call mismanagement of funds?
He hasn't even inquired to me once. He hasn't even voiced his concern to me once. He's kind of just a rich guy. I don't even think he really cares about the whole situation.
Now, regarding you, Ferdinand, how do you feel about the whole situation? Do you feel like the money that you donated was misused, or do you feel like it was invested?
He put it towards development. It would be another thing if he lied and he put it towards something else. He actually tried to make an effort to keep his end of the deal, so therefore I can't really be mad.
I would say this Bavaria, this was just an absolute catastrophe worth of Bavaria. In your opinion, do you believe that the Modells should finally give up on Bavaria, or do you believe there's hope for another incarnation?
We discussed that if we were to do it again, we'd want to do it right. When we were shutting down, the more hardened veterans were saying, shut it down, you know, let it die, which they said after the last Bavaria.
Is there anything you want to specifically say just to the people of Bavaria, everyone who's just been in the group?
I just want to say, you know, I'm sorry for everyone that was hyped for a group. A lot of people's expectations were let down. I just want to say I'm sorry for, you know, letting everyone down.
After hearing both sides of the Bavarian argument, I think it's a very gray argument. Sure, it's extremely easy to try and scapegoat Ajax and say that he's fully and entirely responsible for the death of Bavaria, but it's not really true. Sure, Ajax was leading the group, and sure, the funds were mishandled under his authority, but Ajax did not have direct access to the Robux of the group, so he can't really be blamed for that aspect. And yeah, Ajax made the mistake of trying to do everything at once within Bavaria, and that backfired on him, and yes, there were mistakes made, but he's man enough to at least own up to it and admit that fact. Well, I definitely am a little upset that Bavaria shut down. I don't think trying to scapegoat him and blame him for every single failure of Bavaria is reasonable or fair or anything like that at all. I think he made obvious mistakes because he's human, but he can learn and grow from them, and Bavaria can take notes as well. Even as short of time as Bavaria was up, I and I know some others definitely had fun in this group, and I think that's what matters at the end of the day. So, with that said, this has been Garrett, and thank you all for watching. It has been an absolute honor to serve in Bavaria, and hopefully I can do it again in the future. Goodbye, gentlemen.